You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and today we have another show for y'all lined up for you. We have a special guest. We're going to be talking to Setche and her music. We're going to talk about Black Country Girl. I want to welcome Setche this morning and say, how you doing?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Shmaya. How are you doing?
Doing awesome, man. So we're going to talk about your music, but before we do that, let's tell the audience a little about Setche.
Wonderful. Do you have the next 10 hours? I'm kidding. So I am Setche, originally from Cameroon, West Africa. I am an Afro Country singer and a diversity, inclusion, and equity practitioner here in San Diego. I love building bridges that drive more inclusive communities.
When you got into music, what first inspired you to say, you know what, this is something that is of interest to me?
Yeah, so growing up, I've always loved music. I love singing and dancing. But because I was a nerd, everyone ridiculed me for anything I did outside being a nerd. And so I used to think, oh, I couldn't ever do that. However, many years ago, I used to love writing songs. Even while I thought, I could never do music, I was always very good at writing songs. And many years ago, a music director brought one of my songs to life, and it was just so amazing. And I thought, wow, I could do this. So I worked with her and the kids at the school, and we just brought this whole choir and concert, and it was amazing. I enjoyed singing in it. And directing the kids as well and all that. So I thought, wow, I could make this professional. So that was my inspiration. Writing all this music that was bringing people together in our local community. I thought, well, I could do it beyond the local community.
You mentioned West Africa earlier. How did you make the transition to the United States?
So I came to the U.S. 16 years ago, got my degree in chemical engineering at Iowa State University. And while I was at Iowa State University, I started performing. And at first I was just performing, to have fun. And before you knew it, the more you practice, the better you get. Mm-hmm. So while I started out just for fun, I got so much better, and I was like, I can do this. Unlike in Cameroon, where I never had the confidence to do anything outside of being a nerd. When I came here, it was kind of a fresh start.
So Iowa State, you study engineering and you're doing music on the side. Now, when you made your way to Mississippi, was that before or after Iowa? That was after. Mm-hmm.
So after I graduated from Iowa, I started working at Caterpillar, and I moved to Peoria, Illinois. From Illinois, I moved to San Diego, California. From there, I moved to Corinth, Mississippi. And then from there, I moved back to Illinois.
Man, that's awesome.
And then I did a little globe trotting for a couple of years, and then I found my way back to California.
So you got a chance to experience different locations in the United States. What were some of the favorite spots, if you will, growing your experience?
I really loved Iowa.
Was it the food?
I really
was it
loved
the people?
Iowa. In fact, I'm working on a song called I Wish the Whole World Was Like Iowa.
Was it the food, the people? What was it about Iowa?
It was the people. It was the people. And I also loved the college environment. The college environment was very diverse. And I got to learn about many different cultures, many different beliefs. It really opened my mind. Now, of course, it was very diverse compared to my home country, mm-hmm. So I got a lot of exposure. And then the people were warm and welcoming. So that gave me a chance. And it was a clean start for me, unlike in Cameroon, where, most people there are really good dancers and singers. So I always felt insecure mm-hmm. to dance or singing when I came to Iowa. I was relatively a better dancer than when I was in Cameroon.
Once again, talking to Setche here on Refocused Radio. And that's very interesting because I like knowing the the background story. And that's so awesome that you came from Cameroon to Iowa to Mississippi to San Diego. And did you mention Illinois too?
Mm-hmm. Illinois,
So,
and I've also lived in Georgia.
so you really been around a lot of great
Mm-hmm.
places. What was your home like in Cameroon like? What was it like being there? The music, the food, the culture.
Oh, I love the music, the food, the culture, and all that. And my inspiration was just the culture. Like Cameroon is a very musical place.
Mhm.
um, we have a lot of different kinds of music, and we have a lot of fun with music, and it can help. Sometimes it helps us wash our tears away, feel better. And my mom is a great dancer, and I always was like, I want to be able to dance like her.
And did she or someone introduce you to music, or was that something that you kind of explored yourself?
I pretty much explored it myself.
That's
Yeah, so my
awesome.
mom is a great dancer and all,
Mhm.
but that wasn't her profession. She was penitentiary administrator. She was a general, and she retired as a general. So very, very different.
And once again, talking to Setche on Your Focus Radio. Now let's talk about this music. We're going to talk about Black Country Girl. I mean, that's a twist in itself. And you can go blackcountrygirl.com if you want to watch the music video and watch the lyric video. But let's talk about that because that's a twist in itself. But Texas, you're in good hands because Texas is all about country. So let's talk about the
Wonderful.
story behind that project and what inspired you to do it.
Absolutely. So when I lived in Mississippi, my very good friend Shamara, I asked her to teach me how to sing like her. That girl can sing. Oh my gosh.
That's a great
So
name.
I asked her to teach me. And she tried her very best. And I was trying my very best, but she kept saying, honey, you sound so country.
Mm.
And I was like, no, 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 I don't want to sound country. I want to sound like you. And no matter how hard we tried, she kept saying, honey, you sound so country. And you do a lot of country stuff too. It's okay to be country, embrace it. And I was like, really? Am I really country? The engineer in me would not believe it unless I had some data to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I went around town doing random informal interviews, asking people if they saw themselves as country, and if so, what made them country. And I put all that data together and analyzed it, and voila, Shamara was right. I guess I was 87.39% country.
Wow.
So then I wrote the song Black Country Girl, just chronicling my experience down in Mississippi. So it was an embracing of different cultures, integration of cultures, and just embracing all of who I am, regardless of what boxes society expects me to fit within.
I watched the video and heard the music. Was that something that you were interested in before, or did that get sparked by Shamara as far as the country music?
I had always loved country music, but I didn't think I sounded country. I didn't think I was country. And I had always loved doing the quote unquote country things. But I had never associated with being country or sounding country. I thought it was just something I liked a lot from a distance. I didn't know that I actually embodied it. You see, I thought being Black and country is an oxymoron. That's why I was like, I don't want to sound country. No, 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 no. I want to sound like you. I thought that it was an oxymoron. However, I wasn't aware that country music actually has roots in African music. I wasn't aware of all the Black influences of country music culture and history. I wasn't aware that 1 in 4 cowboys and cowgirls of the old white West were Black people. I wasn't aware of all these Black cowboys and cowgirls in the rodeo and things like that. I wasn't aware of all this. So it turns out being a Black country girl isn't actually an oxymoron. It's just that there's been lack of representation, and a systemic lack of representation of Black people when the stories about the Wild West are told. When country music is being put on stage, there's been a huge lack of representation of Black people. And even I wasn't aware of Charlie Pride and Mickey Guyton and Ricey Palmer and all this Darius Rucker and all these Black people in country. Because you never see them get elevated to the bigger stage. Now it's changing a little bit, but we were not aware. So I thought it was an oxymoron to be Black and country. That's why I was trying to distance myself.
And once again, talking to Setche here on I Am Focus Radio. And this is fascinating. I mean, we're learning something really unique and special. I mean, the fact you're not just doing country music because you just randomly just wanted to do it. I mean, this is very educational and like you said, is promoting diversity. And when you look at the music that you're creating for the world to hear, what's some of the things that you're hoping can get across learning about you and your music?
Yes, the main things I want to get across is the concept of building bridges and, breaking stereotypes. I am hoping, to break stereotypes and get people curious and to dig deeper and build bridges. And another theme I like to get across, especially through the song Black Country Girl, is authenticity. How it's so important when we're able to embrace our authentic selves and embrace all of who we are, and how that's actually healing. And, as a result of this, I'm inspired to launch Authenticity Challenge next week, actually. I'm launching that on July 13th, which is National Oxymoron Day. So people think a Black country girl is an oxymoron, and I used to think that as well. So, however, I was able to embrace the quote-unquote oxymorons in me. And that helps me live a more fulfilling life, and it also helped me heal a lot. And like I said earlier, being Black and country isn't actually an oxymoron. Many of the things we think are oxymorons aren't really oxymorons. They just appear that way because of a lack of representation. So this challenge is really about getting people to showcase their complexities, embrace their multifaceted abilities and identities and share that with the world. And that's a way of inspiring curiosity, breaking stereotypes, and building bridges. So to participate in that challenge, go to my website, blackcountrygirl.com. I would have more information on there. And you can participate in the challenge, using the hashtag Black Country Girl and Authenticity Challenge. And of course, using my music in the background. I would have more information on my website when you visit it. And you can also join my street team of bridge builders and authentic music fans at go.blackcountrygirl.com. You can go in there, put in your email address, and you can be part of my street team, helping me build bridges on the ground, wherever you are.
And what has been some of the response from people when they find out, number one, you've done a country song, and number two, you have a really awesome mission behind it?
Yes, actually, I've had really positive responses. Many people are saying, this is really great. This is really unique. The world needs this right now. This country needs this right now. So that is very encouraging. However, I've also had a few people who are disgusted, like, stay out of our lane. Like, this is not for Black people. And some people would even call me the N-word.
Oh, wow.
Yes, some people said very mean things to me, or wrote very mean things to me because I'm a Black girl doing country. They're like, no, this is our sacred cow. Get out. Wow. Don't come destroy country music.
Wow. That's interesting. What's your response to people who think like that and feel like you don't belong creating country music?
I send them to the roots of country music. I'm like, where do y'all think it came from? Just because we've been systematically erased from the stories.
Oh, once again, talking to Setche here on I Am Refocus Radio. And that's interesting because I think it's important to educate our audience. What are some of the new things that you are discovering the more you dive into this topic? Because that's a very interesting topic that a lot of people don't talk about. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, some of the new things I'm discovering, like the roots of country music, it's a mixture of Irish and African roots. And I was surprised about that. And the banjo was actually used to be an African instrument. I forgot its name. Used to be an African instrument. But I also found out about just even the culture in general and how Black people have been erased from it. Like the famous John Wayne is actually a whitewashed Black character called Baz Reeves. Not character, but real person called Baz Reeves. I also found out about some of the Black women who contributed significantly to the culture and inventions in the old white West. I also found out about that it wasn't even just the diversity wasn't just Black people. You also had many Native Americans and Mexicans contributing to this culture. But all these people of color have been whitewashed from the stories of the old white West and of country music and culture. And of course, I'm finding out about Miracle Max, and I'm finding out about the Black Country Music Association that had been created to help Black people in country music to get a voice. And it was barely supported or funded and things like that. And eventually it ceased to exist, but it used to exist. I'm finding out a lot.
Black people, have they responded to you in a positive way? And are they interested in learning more when they hear about all this that you're talking to us about today?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I've got so much positive response from Black people. Again, there are a few who think, you've got to be kidding me. Is this even real?
So both sides have come at you.
Sometimes we're so in the box that society has put us in that we then put ourselves in there even more.
Wow. So you got it from both sides, both.
I got it from both sides. Yeah. And you see, that's the point of my challenge. So in my challenge, I want people to think about three main things when they think about oxymoron. So think about the oxymorons, the quote unquote oxymorons you embody because of the boxes society has put you in, saying, oh yeah, you couldn't be a nerd and also an artist, you couldn't be Black and country, but also what boxes have you put yourself in? Maybe because you wanted to, maybe out of protection, sometimes we put the shells over us to protect us from a crazy situation, whether it's an abusive situation at work or wherever, we put these shells over us and we embody them, whereas they weren't actually real. They weren't supposed to be there. And yes, maybe they protect us for a while, but it was not supposed to be forever. And that's what I had to realize when Shamara was saying it's okay to be Black in country, embrace it. I realized yes, society put it on me first by systematically ensuring that there was no representation of Black people. But then I also put it on myself. I embodied it. I embraced that box. And I had to realize, no, I have to re-examine some of these boxes that I've put myself in. And so, yes, I got it on both sides. Sometimes we all caught up in what we're supposed to and not supposed to be. And then I also want people to think of like the actual oxymorons that exist, like and that we could benefit from reconciling or examining, like the actual oxymoron of being of saying, yes, we're all for freedom and liberty and justice, but yet turning a blind eye when huge segments of our population are being treated like second-class citizens. There's actual oxymorons that we live in. And so examining those would also be beneficial.
And you mentioned Shamara in Mississippi quite a few times during the show today. Was she one of the first few people that you made friends there? Did you have any prior connection to her beforehand, or how did she come in the picture?
No, I met her. She was one of the friends I made in Mississippi. She's Black, and she's just an amazing friend for my 1 year that I was in Mississippi. So I had Shamara and Melanie. They were my really good friends.
Were they into music themselves professionally, or were they just like fans of music?
They were fans of music, but Shamara, she sang in the church choir, in the church worship team. So she has a really good voice, great voice. That's why I wanted her to teach me how to sing like her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but they were not into country music. And so they found it fascinating that I was in country music, and they were like, embrace it. You go country line dancing all the time. You do all this country stuff. Just embrace it.
Once again, talking to Setche here on I Refocus Radio. If you want to watch her music, hear her song, Black Country Girl, you can watch it or hear it. Go to blackcountrygirl.com. You can watch the lyric video and the music video. And before we let you go today, you mentioned building bridges. And I think that's a very important topic, especially when you're just trying to educate the public on what's facts, but also extend a hand to bridge the gap and get people connected. What are you hoping that people take away from you personally as a person as you're trying to do this mission?
Yeah, I hope what people can take away from me is my authenticity. Authenticity is hard in this current day and age. Where people are more where people have to put up these fronts, and so it's a daily decision, sometimes even moment by moment decision. But I want people to take away the fact that when we live our authentic lives, it's a way of building bridges too, because we would be surprised the people we would connect with, people that we would have thought we had nothing in common with, people that sometimes we even see as the enemy. So when we become authentic, we would lose some friends and gain some new ones.
I like that.
Yeah, but it's it's less work to be authentic.
That's true.
Than to be trying to live a facade or just live up to expectations. So yeah, that's what I want people to take away. That authenticity is a way of building bridges. It is a way of healing. And it is a way of bonding and forming relationships so that we can end up standing in solidarity with each other to work on effective solutions for our communities.
Well, once again, been talking to Setche on I'm Focus Radio, and you can follow her on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. She's everywhere. Go to blackcountrygirl.com, and thanks for being on the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your music. And what would you like to say to our listening audience before we let you go?
I would like to tell our listening audience to go ahead and sign up to join my street team of bridge builders and authentic music fans by going to go.blackcountrygirl.com and putting in your email address. Or you can also go to my website to get more information about the challenge. I am looking forward to learning more about you. I can't wait to hear your stories of your oxymorons when you participate in my challenge. So I'm looking forward to hearing those stories. And I would be actually choosing a few participants to give free virtual concerts to, or local concerts if I happen to be where you are, and some merchandise. So yes, I'm looking forward to hearing your stories.
Thank you for being on the show today. We've been talking to Setche. Go to armyfocusradio.com to hear this and many other interviews, but make sure you go support Setche and visit her website. And that website for you is blackcountrygirl.com. And like we say on every single show, you know the drill. Keep God first, stay focused, and peace.